Hey, howdy, hi, how are you? This is Evan from Enlightened Workshops, and what I would like to know is, are you interested in getting out of the chronic pain cycle? Are you tired of being in pain and being frustrated about being in pain and trying to fix it and it not going anywhere? If you are, and you're open to the notion that there might be a psychological component keeping it in place, then perhaps you've come to the right place. Today, we're pretty excited because we're unveiling a new tool. We have this new tool that I'm calling the pain wheel, or a pain visualization tool, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. So you can download this in the description. It's a free download, and you can start to play with it. I'm just going to kind of walk you through it. So the basic idea of it is this. So when you're dealing with pain, and up here it says mapping complex addictions, right? When we're talking about pain that persists, there's often a subconscious process keeping that pain there, and it works for several reasons. Some of this is based on the science of Dr. John Sarno. If you haven't checked that out, you can look at other videos that talk about that more in depth. But the basic idea is we like to have pain to distract us because it protects us from this deep emotional pain that's underneath. And so one way to think about it is just this trauma that we experience as children, this deep loneliness, this fear, this anger gets shoved down into our body. So for me and my story, what happened for me was, for the last 27 years, I had this sort of chronic neck pain. It wasn't bad at first, but it's just gotten steadily worse. And I would try to do everything I could think to fix it, and nothing really worked. And finally, I came around to the notion, and I tried the experiment of, what if this is just emotional pain? It took me a long time just to get there to be willing to try that. And then when I did, the results were amazing, miraculous, and instantaneous to some degree, right? So what happened first was, I had this deep pain right down the center of my neck, and just got worse and worse all the time. I would wake up in the morning and just be like, ah. And that was the first thing to go. So if we look at our little sort of pain map here, and I come in here and I show you the how this started for me, is I started to tune in to that neck pain. And the first thing I saw was that I had this very strong terror and fear of my father. My father was a violent man. And as a child, I was always afraid that he was going to kill me. And so that lives on inside of me, and it affects the way that I look at life. And so it didn't go anywhere. It just kind of stayed buried. So you can see that here. He's going to kill me. That was the beginning of the whole thing. And within 1 week of me touching into that pain and walking through that fear, the pain was essentially gone, and it has not returned, and it's been 3 months. Now notice this fear, he's going to kill me, started at a 9 or a 10, and now it's down to a 2. But what happened next was really wild, is even though that cleared up really quickly, it revealed that there was all this pain down the side and down the front of my neck, and that a lot of muscles here were completely like hard as rocks. And so there was all this tension and a bunch of other stuff that was buried and held in place here, and I didn't know what it was. And so I started to explore that. And as I started to explore it, I realized there were a lot of different parts in here. And if you look around the map, there was a lot of I hate everybody and I want to kill them. I'm evil and disgusting and I want to die, right? These are the different pieces. But the one that really came to the fore, that really was buried right there, was, if you can see this, I can't take my mom's hysteria. And what I realized is it was more than that. I can't take my mom's hysteria. I can't take the violence and the fighting. So my mom and dad would fight all the time. And so my mom was dramatic and hysterical, and my dad was rageful. And as that little kid, I lived in a constant state of terror. Now, for the last 3 months, I've been processing it, and 90% of that neck pain that I that showed up after this first part is now gone. And then all this, of course, extends into my shoulder. And so some of that stuff in the shoulder is, I want to kill my father, right? So you see all these different feelings, and none of these feelings are really acceptable in prime time. They're not okay to talk about, to deal with. We naturally in our society, we suppress these things. So by not suppressing them and starting to map them, I'm starting to break free from all of this. So what we have for you down in the description is we have a PDF version of this. This was created in a mind mapping software called Mindoma, which is free and you can download. We have an upcoming pain workshop that if you're interested, you can check out. You can check out our site, enlightenedworkshops.com. And part of that workshop, everybody's going to be downloading the software and working through and building their pain map. But this PDF that we have is a really great start. So download it, check it out, start to map your pain. And if you want to come to the workshop and check out and start to go, how do I talk to these pieces? How do I get down to what's really going on? Because to me, it just feels like physical pain. Well, that's a starting point, and that's the beginning of an exploration. So we're here to support you with that and help you through that. So reach out to us, all the various ways. There's WhatsApp groups on the site, etc. But we'd love to connect with you and start to help you uncover and figure out, what is this pain really about? Because once you start to really get down to what something's really about, that's when it starts to go away. And that's when it starts to become really effective and move through more quickly. So this is Evan from Enlightened Workshops. And hopefully we'll see you around the campfire soon. And I really hope that you start to get some traction and start to find a way out of this chronic pain. All right, cheers.